Sorry. Okay.
Go.
Yeah. Hey, avast me hearties, and welcome once again to Full Stream Ahead. I'm your host, Mozz Manzor, and with me, as always, is the lovely Lilith Hellfire, the internet granny herself. How are you, Lilith?
Pretty great. So happy to be here. We're
on.
talking episode 5 of I'm a Virgo. 2 to go. Not quite the penultimate. Don't get your drinks ready just yet.
Watch yourself.
Lots of thoughts. So let's get into it.
Okay, so first off, considering the name of last week's episode and what it eventually referenced, when they said Brillo, if possible, I was like, I don't like where this is going. I did not like where that was going. I was like, man, we're okay. But luckily, we went down a different road. So
what did you think it was gonna be?
Pubes.
Oh.
Because last time, like, Balance Beam ended up being his junk, right? So
yeah. Okay.
You know, I was like, oh, where are they going? But no, there was nothing like that at all. Well, close. It was adjacent, I guess.
Yes.
In some sense. But another good episode, a bit longer. We get a
23 minutes? Or was it? It was
25.
longer than 20. It did not feel like it.
Yeah,
it felt shorter, actually. Like, when the episode ended, and that might have been intentional because it was very abrupt. Like, at the very last, like, few minutes, they were piling so much on us.
What a great place to end it, though. What a great place to end it.
Yeah.
But it starts at this, one
of the car shows. So
car
we
show.
kind of
Would it be
started
called
out
a car show? It's got to be called something else.
I forget
right?
what it's a hang loose featuring cars.
That's like a meet. That's like a meet. That's a meet. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just going off what I've seen in movies. In movies, that's called a meet, I think. But they start at this car show, and this dude just doing donuts around, calling people out. And then he wakes up and...
You know who that guy was, don't you? That's the guy Cootie got into the fight with. Yeah. His name's Bear, and that's the guy that he got into the fight with. Yeah.
But then how is the timeline is so wonky here? I guess they do show you how much time passes that you don't realize when you keep getting a look at his ankle bracelet, and it keeps saying day 12, day 23. I'm like, whoa, okay. Really letting you know how fast these things are moving. I was like, okay, that's fair, that's interesting. But he wakes up in this pink bed, and he's surrounded by these sheets, and I'm like, okay, let's see where this is going. This will be fun. And all of a sudden he can't get out. And my first thought was, is he caught up in Jones's cuttlefish magic, right? Because she had like the unfurling thing behind her too, but it ended up not being that at all. Makes it to the edge of the bed to discover, hey, something happened, and I am now
6 inches tall and naked.
Yeah. So and it was just like, okay, so this world, I thought they were showing us like
if there's giants, then there have to be little people, like that whole thing. Like, it's kind of like that it's like that, what is that, Unbreakable reference, like forever the spectrum, right, of the hero and the villain. So if like one person is 13 feet tall, somewhere somebody has to be like equally as impossibly little, but nope, not that.
It must be balance in the force.
Like I thought that was the vibe at first. I'm just like, I don't think so. If I know Boots right, I don't think that's what this means.
It really threw me for a loop, because then
because we're dealing with somebody we've never really met except for briefly. Like, it was really hard. Like, I had to, when I watched my second watch, I was like, oh, it's that guy.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But what threw me for a loop was like when you're like, oh, this is happening now, right? This is current. All of a sudden, something's happening and other people are developing powers. But then as like Flora's had her powers ever since she was a kid, and he was born this way.
And allegedly Jones might have too. That's why she got into activism.
Right. Or not, because apparently from looking at this guy, Bear didn't have this power like
it's not a power
ago.
Though.
Huh?
It's not a power. This was done to them.
Well, yeah, but whatever you want to call it, a mutation.
Well, then, I mean, they said that this was specifically done to them by the powers that be to force them out of their jobs and their homes. At least that's what Jones says. Like, we don't want to end up like the people in Lower Bottom.
Yeah. I was wondering what she meant by that, because I didn't
this
really
is like definitely the powers that be did this to them. I think this is like a mixed metaphor of like redlining and consuming.
what confused me is because like the little people were going through issues where supposedly they were being fired from their jobs
because they're too little. Yeah.
no. Oh,
Yeah.
because here's what threw me for a loop, right? Because as soon as like at first, I think this is happening in the now, right? And then he comes out and he's already got this little miniature van and he's selling stuff and he's like, we find out he's a mechanic. So it's like, oh, so he's well entrenched and established in the society, in this community. Oh, so they've been knowing about, tiny people for a while. So that's why this must not be so weird for them. So it wasn't in the now. They were showing us maybe how this guy got turned back in the day, because the timeline seems wonky at that point.
I think it might have happened like right after he got into a fight with Cootie, but the timeline is unclear. So you know how Cootie has that rash?
Yeah.
Maybe it's contagious or something.
Oh,
It's like the Big Bang, the metahuman bang, like from Static.
Yeah.
And maybe Cootie's like the Big Bang for certain sections.
His name is Cootie, of course.
Yes, right? It's like, okay, if I'm a Virgo doesn't mean anything. Cootie has to mean something, right?
No, he's definitely got the scabby little cooties, Oh man, that's exactly what it is. He's like patient zero for whatever this is. They're aliens. Or he's an alien, or he's a carrier for an alien, or maybe his species was the only thing strong enough to carry their spores or whatever. And as soon as as soon as his spores tasted the outside world, they started.
And maybe violence activated it, and that's why his parents have tried to keep him calm or something. I don't know. I have so many thoughts about this episode and no damn answers whatsoever.
It's like a really slow Hulk response. He gets into one little altercation, and all of a sudden, this rash starts, and he's slowly changing or whatever. And whatever was riding in him, they're like, okay, the environment is getting too dangerous. We have to express ourselves and get and join. And so now they're coming out. I don't know, but
I don't know, right? It's so many different ways it could be, but that was my interpretation of it at this point.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's definitely not the episode that I thought it was going to be. Like I told you, I was definitive. This is going to be the Walton Goggins episode. Nope, they cock blocked this again, Mozz.
Again. I'm like, oh man,
I can't take it.
Yeah, but hopefully would you say?
But we figured. Yeah, 2 episodes. So,
wait. This is episode 5. There's only 7 episodes?
There's only 7 episodes.
I thought there were 8.
Nope, only 7. Let me double check. It's only 7.
Okay. Yeah, so because what I kept thinking was, what if these little people have been entrenched in that community for a while, and they have some sort of job that only little people can do, and they were getting fired while being little people, not because of being little people.
Yeah, it was because they were little people. At least that's my interpretation of what Jones says later on in the episode. I was so confused about why are we starting with somebody we don't know? Who the hell are all these little people? What is going on? Where is Walton Goggins?
Yeah, what the hell happened to him being in chains and all of a sudden? So
and they did bring that up on the news report, and I really love the whole little the little pundit. I know how they say 20 down in the street. I got my ear to the street, man. It's just ooh, with the black lady trying to get a word in edgewise. I was like, this is so classic. I feel like I'm watching Fox News right now.
Yeah. My favorite thing was he's scrolling TikTok and police are learning how to fight giants.
Fight giants?
5 dudes. I was like, come on, bro. That's not. I don't know what kind of power is Walton.
Or the last one where they were the police when they know the hero's going to show up and they just leave. They just leave. They're like, nah, we're not going to do this. We're not doing this.
That was a great moment when he's being assaulted by all this propaganda.
My heart broke for him though.
Yeah, and then I thought to myself, what if we're not watching a superhero show? What if we're watching a supervillain show? This seems awful close to the origin story of a supervillain. Yes. And then 5 seconds later, he's like, you know what? If it's a villain they want, I'll give him one. And I was like, oh no, here we go. And what's funny is his parents don't really react too strangely to him wanting to turn to the dark side. They're like, yeah, well, we knew this time was coming, yada, yada, yada.
Activate house mode, baby. So I kind of didn't like that. I told you I had a feeling they were the bad guys. I guess I don't even think they're his aunt and uncle. I really don't at this point. Because she was trying to stir something with Jones. It's like she almost knew Jones had a power, and she wanted to stir something up with her. As a backup, maybe even. I don't know. They're looking like, I don't know. I mean, there's one thing to be like proactive and defensive of your children and stuff, but this is a little out there. Like, he's stealing from the company, and I don't know. I don't know.
As much as I feel like they are like kind of people who are like in a cult, and they feel like they know the end of history. And because of that, they don't have to be tied down to the rules of people who don't know the end of history. So they're like, we're on a broader divine purpose. So
well, you know that you mentioned that the cult came back this episode too. The Steve Jobs cult, as I like to say, the little black turtlenecks.
Yeah, they called him the Great Polypheme, which is
what does that mean?
So I looked it up. It's the Cyclops that Odysseus blinded in the Odyssey.
And they did show a Cyclops when they were going through the history of giants, like I mentioned. Remember?
Yeah. So maybe he's gonna lose an eye.
Maybe the rash is gonna make him lose an eye. Maybe it's transforming him into that Cyclops.
Yeah, like a really slow Hulk transformation. Man. But then again, like so his mom, the way she phrases it when they're when he's having his little evil genius monologue, right? Or he's trying to get into one. His mom's like, man, he could be the one to spark it all off and lead the whole world out of this mess. So that sounds like something somebody who's good would say, right?
That's not how I interpret. Like, her motives are so sketch to me. Like, they have weapons, and it's like he's like, for 28 years, my job's been taking a piece of me, but 19 years ago, I found a reason to take something back from them. I don't know. Like, I'm all for stealing for corporations because F them, but I don't know. Just the way that's like was prefaced.
Well, I mean, like, he was taking just little knickknacks and gadgets that were going to get thrown out anyways. It wasn't like he was, like...
Listen, one thing about it, the one thing that makes a corporation run is bureaucracy. If you don't throw something away, somewhere somebody's auditing that, trust me.
Yeah, so let them audit it. I'll get my stuff done while you audit, Yeah,
because bureaucracy is slow.
Hey, all those auditors need jobs too, so...
Hey,
a job creator here.
Okay. But yeah, it's just something that just, like, I'm just feeling like something just doesn't feel right.
I don't know what to make of it. This
episode, like I said, so unexpected. Not what I expected. So many like twists and turns, and like just literally, I'm just theory crafting. And there's like, I'm just fan waking at this point. It's not even theory crafting. I'm just like, okay, maybe it means this, maybe it means that. I'll take it from like way back in episode 1, a still shot from like when they first spotted the Thwomp monster. Like, you're just like zooming in like some kind of conspiracy theorist at this point, which kind of have to be with Boots Riley, honestly.
Right. Because that's the language
that's his thing.
He's written in. But yeah, that's the fun part. So here's what made me think that those little people had weird little jobs, because they made him a giant ankle monitor, and when he's stepping out, you hear a voice, "Hey, get back." And I was like, and he turned down to look. I really thought he was going to look at one of those little people, and turns out he was just looking at his ankle monitor. Yeah. I was like, do those little people like live in these little things? And they're like,
they did kind of put a lot of emphasis on those, because they're like, why didn't he use handcuffs? And look, he made a special thing. And like, where did that come from? Why did he have that so readily available? First of all, can you imagine how long it might have taken to make that? Like, what is it made from?
Yeah, like what kind of materials were it made of? Because then at the end, we see that he constructed a whole entire cell in prison that could hold.
It's giving Magneto, and Magneto, as we know, was right. So y'all can fight me, X-Men fans, but deep down in your heart, he was right.
Yeah, no, but in the same sense, if Magneto was right, so were we.
Exactly.
Right. So if he's right, then we have every right to put them on because if he's right, then we were right to put them in that, island by themselves. So we got to fight for our side too. I can't fight for your side. Mm-hmm. So. That's a weird argument. Anyway, so he's on.
Humans are untrustworthy.
Right.
No matter the subtype.
No. I understand that, but if it comes down to my species or your species,
Although I would kind of be nice to the people that can control the weather, and considering everything we're doing to nature, I would be nice to the people that could fix that. That's That's just me.
Yeah.
Somebody that shoots beams out of their eyes. I don't know. I would be nicer to them. That's just me.
Yeah. But if niceness was all it took, if they asked for more than niceness, then we might have to give them not niceness. You know what I mean?
Oh, you always got to keep a blicky in your back pocket. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But at least try peace first, and that was just not the hero's intention at all. Because I feel like this cell has been being created since the first time he spotted him on social media when he made that splash on the news. I feel like this is all just kind of been orchestrated.
Right. He's been watching him probably for a while, looking for his weaknesses.
Looking for his first excuse. Yeah.
And imagine if we get to the last episode and like he's been in every episode, you just never noticed him. He's been lurking.
Or the aunt and uncle actually work for him, and we're just doing this too. In the vein of the boys, spoilers.
No.
How the guy created the villains because he wanted some more work for his friends, right? I'm just saying. Like I said, that aunt and uncle are untrustworthy.
Man, I want to like them so bad. Especially the dad. I really
listen. Everybody loves Mike Epps. He's lovable, right?
Yeah.
But Matisse, I be wanting to smack him. I'm sorry.
Sometimes, yeah.
I think it's because he gives that vibe of like that old school parenting where there's no room for like gentle parenting. Like you just like had he not been a giant, he totally would have been out of the house at 18 with like his 18th birthday present would have been luggage. Get the hell out. Like that. That's the vibes. I get from Matisse.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And he's mad about it.
oh yeah, he's mad about it every day, and rightly so. It was a big burden, and it turns out like if he would have been a little more honest, maybe we could have contained this. But maybe the whole point is that it couldn't be contained forever anyway. Might as well get it over with, right?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Like their motivations are just so random. Like the aunt is just going along with it to get along. Like what is her deal? Like the aunt is what bothers me. Like I just don't know what's in her little brain.
We got to help him take a hold of this situation right now, or he's not going to be ready for what's coming. What's coming? And it feels like they've always known that something would come eventually, and now somehow it's here. I feel like it's like an invasion, or like a fleet of people coming to get him, or somebody's coming after him, and I think more so than just Hero, because Hero just found out about him right now, but something
allegedly
has been preordained to come after him, like some ancient blood feud or something.
Like I said, they did show him the history of giants, and it never ends well. And like I said, it doesn't help that A, he lives in Oakland. B, he's a black man.
Okay, so this is interesting, right? As soon as a giant comes into the picture, other people start having their powers expressed. So what if there's some old ancient order society?
It's cooties.
Right, to prevent giants from giving human cooties. Huh.
And then the cult is like, no, let them give us their cooties. We want them.
Yeah.
We want to be transformed.
I mean, it's again a little bit like the boys. It's a crapshoot. You might end up getting a really good power or a really, really annoying one.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
it's just where do the little people... Like, I get the metaphor that he's going for like, the little people and, like, being pushed out of, like, A, jobs because jobs go overseas. B, getting pushed out. If you don't have a job, you can't pay your mortgage, right? And, gentrification, everybody's always that property is very valuable. I mean, especially in the state of California, it's been a history of pushing out, historically black communities to build whatever for the rich.
I would say a very aggressive form of that was just recently seen in Hawaii.
Yeah, I agree. If you've seen the footage, I agree.
I'm not one to say this or that, but it looks mad funny.
Yeah. You want a 5-minute city? You want a 15-minute city, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And it just happened to another place that they were planning a 15-minute city.
Really?
That's all I'm saying. Listen, I see the facts. I'm starting to see a pattern. I'm just saying, once, okay, I'll write that off. 2, coincidence. 3 is a pattern. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
humans are built to recognize patterns for a reason.
Right.
And I'll leave it at that.
Fool me once, shame on me.
Can't happen a second time. I agree with Bush. That's the only thing I agree with Bush. Can't be fooled again. You get one time. That's it.
Right.
But the honeymoon phase is over between Cootie and Flora.
Oh, but that's adorable too.
It's the little lip smack and his farts. Like, that is classic.
Oh my god!
Because I can't stand a guy who does the little after every like I broke up with somebody for that. I'm not gonna lie. I have broken up with somebody because
no,
of
no,
that.
but if that is something that's bothering you about the person, you didn't like them to begin.
Exactly.
Right. Something else inside your guts is speaking, and your ego's like, no, we can't say that. We can't say that. Oh, say it's because of this. Yeah, we're going with that. That's what's happening in between, like what's really going on. And
I also
being
feel
a
like
nice
Flora
person.
is getting disinterested as he drifts more towards the villain side. Like she's almost being like repelled and repulsed as he gets like more and more in his feelings about watching the news coverage and realizing that he's being painted the villain, so he might as well be the villain. I feel like.
Yeah. I think her getting upset is what's gonna be able to bring him back into the fold.
Yeah.
'Cause he seems to think like he's too settled.
That's the dangers of sitting around watching TV all day too, though.
Right. Well,
Being in your bubble, whether you
right.
know whatever kind of bubble that is, whether that's a conservative bubble or a liberal bubble, all bubbles are bad. Echo chambers are bad.
Right. It's also because like he's on house arrest, can't really go anywhere.
Yeah, but he was reading comics instead of like say I don't know books, real like listen, I love comic books, y'all know that, but like I also read like hella books. Books I don't agree with, books I love, things like I read hella books as well. Like it's not just that one form of media.
Right.
So,
and that's an interesting part too. Like when his mom walks in and says to him, she says, you still read this? Even after what he did to you? And he goes, and a really cool moment where he goes, Mom, those are two different things. This is the ideal, right? He's representing the ideal right now, but he's not, doing a good job of it. But he's the one in that role, but that doesn't shake the ideal. Until
the rooster came home to roost on that cover and he saw himself. He's like, oh, yeah. That's what really broke him, and it was so sad.
Right. Everything was
this episode was depressing, honestly. Yeah. Watching him kind of spiral, like even like his like when he was watching the thing about the psychic and talking about the Virgo, and he realized even she's a fake. Like she says that for every single sign. That broke my little heart.
Yeah.
Because that was like the last thing he was clinging to, honestly.
But it's like it's about time. It's about time you find out Santa Claus isn't real.
Spoilers, cover your children's ears. I don't know why you listen to this with your kids. I mean, this particular it's pretty tame comparatively, but we'll see.
Yeah. I love that she says to him because when he farts, she goes, maybe that's your superpower. She said
the sulfur was getting in her lungs, bro. I'm dying.
Yeah.
And she's like, you gotta take a shower. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is like, no, seriously. I have two godsons that, spend the summers with me, right? And they're very much, at least when they were a little bit younger, they were very much, well, we're not going anywhere today. Well, we gotta take a shower. Because you stink, boy, to get in the shower. That's relatable for me as somebody who has had an opportunity to raise small boys at a time. So
yeah, that's nuts. She goes, I like your balls, but I don't like them smelling them from here. I was like, disgusting. And that's
let them know.
And that's where we get the title of the episode.
Use soap.
And make sure there's a washcloth and Brillo if possible. And I was like, golly. I mean, it must take industrial size cleaners to get. Anyways, let's get off track. We get the obligatory emo shower scene. And then Then that's when he sees.
I still don't think he used soap. But that's between us.
Let's see where. Okay, so let's talk about Jones, right? So she's up there
doing her thing
again, trying to again. So what is she hoping to do there?
So she started a complete general strike against everything. So we're not paying rent. We're not going to work. She's really like on the full like baby communist manifesto vibes right now.
What do you want to do?
Change. General strikes have worked, but they have.
Just seems to me like you're so.
I think she's just starting stuff at this point, though. I feel like she's like the Joker. She caught the car, and now she doesn't know what to do with it.
Right. So it's like just
You can't live for free. Now that, like, I'm not, listen,
point.
I might be a socialist, but I understand you can't live for, even though every other species on the planet lives for free, humans have chosen not to follow that model. I get it, and I understand it.
No, not all humans. There's a whole, we should look up the numbers. How many homeless people are in the U.S.?
That's a lot.
There's a tribe of people who have decided we're going to live not in your little web of, money or whatever, and they live to the ripe age old of 40 or 50. It's just a different subset of our species. So that's entirely
some
possible.
of them sure wouldn't want a house if you gave it to them, but some of them do.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, if that's so attractive to you, the do nothing lifestyle, it's there for you.
True.
Why is your protest about what I have to do?
You know what happened? I think actual hobo is a culture, right? Like the tramp lifestyle was actually a thing back in the day. Like they have their own language and things like that. That kind of fell out of favor,
Right. I mean, I guess they just don't call it that anymore because things.
But now it's like a real like code, like honor among thieves kind of thing that just doesn't exist for the most part. If you want to research it, it's super interesting.
No, but they're like pockets of communities, like in the tunnels in Las Vegas.
Yes,
right?
Yes, I'll give you that. That is a community,
a hierarchy, and a whole system and whatnot. So, like again, so my point is, people who have criticisms of capitalism, that lifestyle is available to you.
Mm-hmm.
Have at it.
No. They want the full perks of capitalism, but they just hate how the sausage is made for capitalism.
Right. Yeah,
I work in finance, so I totally see how the sausage is made. Okay, and I just had to be okay with that because I'm not built for that life. So I don't complain too much. I tried a van once. I lasted 3 months. I was like, nah, I gotta poop indoors. I can't.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's
I think that for me, that's my motivation. Yeah, I gotta poop indoors.
I don't know how my dog does it, but at least I'm watching his back as he does it. If I'm out in the woods doing that by himself, I can't be that vulnerable.
Exactly. No. I can't imagine, like, if you ever watched like any van life videos during the pandemic where everything was shut down, like that was wow. But yeah. I don't know where I get it. Like she's passionate and she her heart is in the right place, but I don't think, like, she's young too. Like she's not even 25, right? Where your brain is fully mentally developed.
Right. I don't even think her heart is in the right place. She just doesn't know herself well enough to know.
Oh, damn, Mozz.
I know. I really don't. I think she's like
you think she's a clout chaser? And that's just what it is?
More than that. I think she is like a transient person that will go from one thing to one thing to
well,
one.
Yeah, her activism has definitely panned that out.
Yeah, activism just happened to be the thing she found herself in, and she applied her internal impulses to this thing. Activism was the one that really, really fed into her ego, so she latched onto that. And what she's searching for is like this feeling of leading the charge, right? But she's using all these people to put herself in this position to feel this way. And then when she's done, or there's no media coverage or whatever, she'll move on to some other thing like a vampire, preying upon weak people and just to make herself feel good. That's what I think about Jones. And but she doesn't know that about herself.
Right. But what if she does though? If she's
maybe
just like...
I don't think she does. I think she's still convinced that she's doing it. She's found herself. She's so good at putting on this act that she's convinced herself that it is true. So that's
unfortunate because I really liked Jones in the first couple episodes. But like I said, when I saw her hopping from each different little activist project instead of staying with one thing, like it sent off red flags for me. And I don't know if it's meant to. I guess we'll find out at the end of the season, hopefully.
Yeah. No, I don't like her. She's got like this holier than thou thing that just really irks me.
Poor Felix is still in mourning too. And like Cootie just did not know how to read the room on that one.
Yeah, well, he's socially awkward, not perhaps because of some autistic tendencies, or simply because he was sheltered.
He just doesn't have
never really had friends. He probably had a very different relationship with his parents, and that's how he talks to everybody.
Yeah. It was interesting that he came to that conclusion, as that's his first kind of like, brush with death, especially an unjust death in the way that Scat died,
Yeah.
That's an interesting reaction, and it kind of just reinforced that his heart is really truly pure, because like most people don't get
Yeah.
that interaction out of their first brush with death. I know I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's a
was
very
pissed.
adult and enlightened and experienced perspective to have found
Yeah, I just found that
on
really
that
interesting.
situation.
But again, I think he let out his anger during that whole protest thing, maybe, and that's all he needed. And then he got a chance to reflect. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, well, this is where that anger for that's where this is how I've ended up this way. So let me
Yeah.
try to find a different perspective.
Yeah. It's like, I don't need that mess. This is, don't get me in the middle of this anymore.
Yeah, but like poor Felix, he's
There,
struggling.
there was an interesting little moment that, again, these little people are throwing such a monkey wrench into everything. I don't understand what they're doing. Because, well,
Literally
there's the
throwing a
point
monkey
where
wrench because he was a mechanic.
no. Cooney gets up off the couch and Scat's ghost is.
Oh yeah, we saw that ghost for a couple of scenes. Yeah.
Oh, really? He was in more. I just saw him once. So he was at a bag.
It
of
was
chips.
like at least 3 different times. Like you see it. It's very
I missed
faded,
him all the other
and now
times.
it's now with Scat's power that he is immortal. And he's just like, and eventually, like in the last episode, he's gonna be able to like actually make himself known to Cootie to say, "Hey, you're not a villain." Because I feel like Scat was definitely the purest out of all of them.
Yes.
Oh, we also got another parking ticket up. It's like, okay, so also we have to mind that Cootie has been binging parking tickets.
Before we move on to parking tickets, but like so. When it first appeared to me, Scat seemed way smaller than he normally is in comparison to Cootie. So, like at first, I thought it was just one of these little people, and then I was like, does he turn into a little people as a ghost person, or what? It just confused the hell out of me. I didn't know what was going on in that scene.
Yeah, and you kind of hear sometimes like you can hear Scat like when he's thinking too. So,
oh, interesting. Is that right?
Yeah, in a couple of different scenes in the last two episodes.
Huh.
Yeah, but like he's binging parking tickets as well, so I don't think he's in the best mental state, which might be another thing that he's decided he wants to be a villain. Like that just also might have pushed him over the edge. Because I feel like parking tickets is like, that whole, don't let your kids watch The Simpsons. It's a bad thing. Like, that might be a message.
Imagine little minds. What a weird one. We didn't get like so much of a big poem this time. I was like, oh, we're going to get a new, nihilistic, depressing ass poem. But it was just like this weird scene.
In the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Where the guy dies. And yeah. Oh, that demonic baby. I was just like, oh my God.
And the poor little girl goes,
this baby's the devil.
The devil.
They're like, shut up.
No, the dad goes, shut your negative trap, Tori. I was like, man, what kind of person is this? And then such a weird scene, and then all of a sudden the kid goes boing, and that's enough to get Flora laughing. I was like, man, that's so funny.
It's so kind of like, classic South Park where they're like being all preachy and then they kill Kenny, Oh, they did the thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that is definitely part of it too.
We get it,
Yeah. That was a disappointment for parking tickets episode for sure. I was expecting something a little more grandiose, especially in the wake of Scat's death. And I didn't think maybe we were even going to see any more, but we did. So.
Imagine if he shows up in an episode later.
That's how we know he's definitely deranged. He's lost the plot.
Ooh. Well, or he's an interdimensional being, Scat.
Ooh. You know what? Down for it. Like, I just feel like we didn't get to know Scat for a reason. Like, I don't feel like it's... You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing with Scat, like, how he was, like, the one that was most welcome to Cootie and things like that. Like, and then he dies and sets this whole thing in motion. Like, it has to mean something.
Yeah, I hope he end up becoming like his Jiminy Cricket.
Oh yeah, I think maybe that's where they're going, and that's why they have him like all ghostly and in the corner, and he can't hear him just yet because he's so mad. He can't feel his good energy. Maybe.
Let's see. Okay, so let's get to the end, right? The argument or the conversation between Cootie and his parents is what leads to all of this. So my favorite moment was he goes, I'm gonna give them what they fucking want, and she goes, you're cussing at me? He goes, I'm cussing with you. I thought that was adorable. It was really, really cool. I'm cussing with you. But she says again, we've been preparing for this moment. And then pushes a button, and all of a sudden they're in a damn bat cave.
You have to go with the absurdist surrealism of it all.
Right. I liked his power knuckles though.
Yeah.
Love, hate, like, the
classic. Yeah.
I thought that was really, really fun. But I hope we finally get a showdown next episode. I did appreciate that there was so much exposition. We got so many new tentacles of the story opening up.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a shame that it's only 7 episodes. Like, or they could have made the episode just a tad bit longer or something. I don't know. Like, I was just like, when they ended the episode, I'm like, what? You're leaving me.
That was the perfect place to end it, because then he goes, she turns to him and Mom goes, "What are you thinking?" He goes, "I'm thinking us halfwits finally got our minds right." I love it. That's such a bad.
Oh no, he's got his catchphrase. That's the reverse catchphrase. Oh no.
Yeah. Finally got my mind right. I hope we see that 30 more times as they're fighting. Every time they fight, he calls him a halfwit, and he says, "I got my mind right."
I don't want to spoil myself. Like, I didn't look to see if Watson Geiger shows up in the next episode, but like,
I don't want to know either. But like, he goddamn well better. He's got 2 episodes left. I need at least.
They might just save him for the very last. Honestly,
that's not fair. How dare you?
It's not fair. Listen, we always want more, but like, when he delivers, he delivers. Whether he's the bad guy, let's be real, he's almost always the bad guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, the episode was different. It gave me a lot to think about. It made a lot of my like theory crafting kind of on shaky ground, and I love that. Like, I don't want somebody to reaffirm me and then pull the rug from under me earlier on. So I'm not like at the end of the season or the series where I'm just like, where there's a sour taste.
That's what I don't get when I'm binging. I don't have time to like form these elaborate theories, and because there's no reason to really form them, right? They're not serving the narrative at all. But I would never go down those excursions in my mind if I could just immediately watch the next episode.
Yeah, so like there definitely is a thing about how we used to watch. Like, I mean, TV fans have become more rabid, but like there is a whole thing about how people have lost like the ability to read media and to critique media. The whole cinema sinification of, media critique, that whole discussion.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much content right now that you can't expect that from your audience.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much.
Listen, as a girl who, I wouldn't say every episode is super down. Well, the first 9 seasons, every single episode, and I was on the boards and like X-Files and stuff like that. Like, I miss it. It was a vibe back then. It really was. Yeah. Like, I'll take it back to like even middle school for me. Buffy, the Buffy forums. Yes. Like, it's a whole vibe. But like, sometimes you just want to get through a show. Like, I binged the first 2 seasons of Chucky, to get ready for this 3rd season, and they're not that many episodes. There were only like, I think. There were only like total 16 episodes.
There's a Chucky show?
Yeah, based on the Child's Play franchise. Mm-hmm. It's pretty dang good.
Okay.
If you're into like meta satirical comedy.
Oh, dig it. Okay, gotcha.
Like if you like say where they actually took it with like Seed of Chucky, Cult of Chucky. It's like not the like the remake that happened like in 2017. Like this is actually like the original 1988 franchise, and they pick up from Cult of Chucky. So if you like that, like the Jennifer Tilly, like the meta commentary where Tiffany is Jennifer Tilly, they go all in on that. So
I only saw like the first one or maybe the second.
Oh, there's so many. I like the first. I even like the first 3 where they kind of age Andy up or whatever. But like it is something about like that Scream style early 2000s that they take like Cult of Chucky and Bride of Chucky and all that I just really dig, and I'm glad that that Mancini finally got a chance to actually like fully realize his vision, because it's a cool idea. Killer doll, like, it seems a little corny, but it's a cool idea, and there were a couple of things that he never got to do, like with the gay representation and actually Chucky like wanting to like care for the children and take care of their rancid like authority figures that were holding them back, things like that we got to explore. So I don't know, like if you kind of, like I said, if you like Scream and like that whole meta commentary, I think it's really good. It's really funny. It's funny horror. Not a conscience, no.
Conscience?
No, he doesn't have a conscience. He's still mischievous, murderous, but it's some interesting things about like how he gets into those kids' heads, what he does for them in the process of doing that. It's very good, I think. So
no, that I don't know. That really disappoints me.
no, trust me. The way that he does it,
our boogeymen.
it's not soft at all. Let me tell you, like the gore factors of it all, love it.
Yeah,
it's still there. You have to watch it to understand like what they were going
perhaps,
for.
But oh man,
just watch the first episode. It's on Peacock.
That flares up the old man inside me.
Listen, I'm trying to give Peacock a chance. That was the only show because they don't have all of the Fast and Furious, so I've been kind of like mad about that. And I want money for Poker Face, so I figure if a couple of shows do good,
yeah. I can't wait till that comes back.
I know. Come pay those people, please.
Are we still at an impasse?
Day 135? Are you freaking... Or 36, I think, maybe, at this point.
Oh, man.
Like, they're really trying to wait them out through the holiday season. And it is...
That's pretty...
It is rubbing me the wrong way.
Yeah, that's pretty disgusting.
Like, I honestly, I think, I'm going to be real, that the streaming market is about to burst. I feel like we're not going to have streaming services too much longer because it is not tenable. It's not sustainable. They keep raising the prices and taking content away. Like Disney and Hulu and Netflix. And they have the ad tiers now, and so like it's clearly not sustainable if this is what you have to do. If you can't give us that classic Netflix, even Netflix can't give us the classic Netflix model that we used to have, right? They stopped selling the DVDs, like they literally phased it out just like last month or whatever. The last DVDs went out, so it's the end of it. Oh yeah.
Holy cow.
Oh, there was some grandma in Iowa that definitely was still ordering those DVDs and sending them back. So that's literally the end of an era, and that tells me it's time that this is telling me that the market's not sustainable. We're going to go back to, you're paying as much, if you had all the streaming packages, you would actually probably be paying more than you would for your cable and your internet combined, depending on the market you live in. If you live in a big market like California, Florida, New York, definitely you're paying more. So I just don't think that that's sustainable, and it's starting to show.
Well, I would love to see some more power go to the creators, and if they're able to use this as an opportunity. That was what
streaming was supposed to be. It turns out
yeah, but like, you can't indict the idea just based on the first step, right? Maybe Netflix and this whole streaming idea.
Well, something like, listen, everybody should be like Tubi. I don't know how Tubi does it. I'm always going to give props to Tubi as a streaming service, right? Like, this is the one place that I watch ads at because I just feel like it's such a fantastic product. And even Freevee to a point, which is Amazon's like answer to Tubi, where you can watch ads for cool stuff. Like I'm okay with that because like they're actually doing like actual originals with things people actually want to watch, not just we got this for so cheap, kind of thing. So I feel like if they can get a model kind of like what Tubi has going on, it could work. But I feel like at this particular rate where everybody's kind of putting their things in the vault, taking things away from the consumer's just going to stop watching. And I feel like that's what they want because they're not actually seeing the profits that they thought they were going to get. And now the strike has like laser focused vision on what they've been doing this whole time behind the scenes. I would love for creators to get more of that money, but it turned out good for the studios and the directors only. I never imagined they would think that they could do it without writers, AI or not.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, hey, somebody put 50 monkeys in a room 6 million years ago, and here we are. AI can write Shakespeare now.
Exactly. So it's like, but I mean, it's just like you can always kind of tell with AI art, right? Whether it's the ears, the hands, the nose, it's something. When AI writes stuff, you can still tell that this particular point. I never thought that we were going to be at that point where they thought that they could replace the writers. Like, we're not at that stage yet. You showed your cards too soon.
I wonder how far we are.
I mean, on a commercial level with, like, let's just use, like, Claude 2 Pro and ChatGPT 4 as an example. No, still rough around the edges. Now, what the government has is not what, the studios will have access to. The government probably has something way, way better, way far along than that.
Yeah, and even now, I guess, to house something that can run those calculations to operate this AI algorithm or program or whatever, you have to have so much processing power.
Yeah, and everybody is in the AI game now. Everybody is actually they're walling off their gardens where you can't scrape data anymore. We're at that point. Twitter, that's why kind of Twitter did what they did, right? Or yeah, I'm gonna dead name Twitter because it's fine because Elon does it to his daughter. But yeah, so now we're at this game where now all our data is even more worth more money, and people are just willy-nilly with it. And I'll leave it at that. But yeah, like I said, I'm trying to support Peacock a little bit because they're actually like wanting to, but like the other studios like, don't do it, bro. Don't do it.
We stand together, right? Right.
No, they seriously want to get back to work and get this sorted. It was like one of the few that actually understand that this is pissing the public off. And Universal can't afford any more bad press. Like, if you know, you know. Universal's always kind of been at the bottom of the studio ranking, so I feel like that's probably why they're trying to put the PR spin on it. But whatever the reason, they're kind of wanting to side with the writers and the actors, from my understanding. So I will support them just a little bit because it's already been written.
On that note, what a great episode of this show it was. And
yes.
Where's
my Walter Goggins?
Let's hope. So take us out. And if anybody wants to reach me or have any questions or want to talk about the show, they can reach me at mozzmanzor@gmail.com. That's MOZZMANZOOR.
And if you guys want to follow us on the interwebs, we're on Twitter at FSA Podcast. You can email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com. You can give us a call at 614-382-2727. That's 614-38-CAPES. And of course, check out our website, tubespace.io, Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. And if you want to hang out with your favorite internet granny, you can find me on Facebook. Like, you can find me under Lilith Hellfire. You can find me on Threads and Instagram at your favorite internet granny. That's GRANNIE.
All right, you filthy land lovers. Join us again next week as we sail once again down the bounding main, a full stream ahead. Yarg. All right.